Welcome, everyone. Stock market tips, secrets to success. This is CEO Trade, CEO David Diaz, welcoming you to our next session, session 203, watch lists. When do you need money? In order to build a watch list, these are the first things you have to go over in the beginning. Do you need your money right away, like tomorrow? Do you need it in the next 30 to 90 days? Do you need it in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Or maybe are you interested in building a legacy, building a trust? These are questions that you need to either answer now, make a plan written down, and go over it and see what fits your schedule. Because when I started out, I wanted to go long term, but I didn't have the money to go long term. And as I started building financial wealth, things started to change. Now I'm starting to look at building a legacy, going for long term, much more seriously than when I started. But when you start to develop a plan, it starts to become much more visual once you have this plan. And in order to get ahead in stocks and crypto, you need to know where you're headed, how long are you going to keep money parked, and what is your goal. Most people treat stocks as a part-time opportunity, gamble. Have you considered making this your business? Most people don't. They don't. They don't consider making it their business. Why? The reality is we were not taught that this is a business. We were not taught that investing our own money, the money that we made, however we made it, or maybe it was handed down, or however you came across this money, now you've got to put it to work for you. Small, large amounts, amounts that you won in a lottery, whatever it may be, you've got to make it work for you. The reason that most people, when they receive a large sum of money, like from a lottery ticket, lose it within 3 to 5 years is because they have no plan. They don't know how to administrate money. They don't know how to live a life that allows them to multiply what they have. And it's very simple. It's not difficult. If you cannot do this alone, then you might need the help of a financial advisor. You might need the help of a financial institution. Just like I have a financial institution investing for me. In the last 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years, I've had a financial institution investing for me because I didn't know much about money. And now I know more about money because of the returns that I am receiving, because of the reality that an institution will only invest to what they consider the least risk for them, the institution, as well as the least risk for you. So they protect themselves by protecting your money in a lower opportunity. That's right. So if I know that I can make 3 to 4% on your money, then guess who pockets the difference? If I just make 3 to 4% more on that, I pocket the difference. Aside from that, I charge you a 1 to 2% fee on a yearly basis for investing your money. These are things that you have to consider. If you make it your business or if you hand the money over to someone else to invest it for you. Now, there are many other types of investments. It's not just the ones that I'm talking about, but these are the ones that I have the most experience with. Either you build your business slowly, part time, because that's the great thing about the stock market and cryptocurrency, there's no set hours. There's no set hours. You can work in the morning. You can do it during the middle of the day. You can do it in the afternoon, late at night, whenever you want. On the weekends, you can do cryptocurrency, or you can join other markets where they're available 24 hours a day. I haven't done that except for crypto. Once in a while, I'll check it on the weekends because I look for opportunities. I look for opportunities. So if you take this as your business, part time, full time, or however it is that you have to start intermittently, you build up to it. And soon enough, you'll have a full business. You'll be able to employ other people so that they can do the research for you, so that they can do the due diligence that you need support with making this a powerhouse. When do you need this money? It's a very, very important question to answer. See, the market will fluctuate. It will go up and it will go down. And chances are that when you start, you're going to get lucky. You're going to make that 2 to 3 returns where you're going to see $1,000, $100 in returns, and you're going to want to put more money in. Well, why would you put more money in when it's your first or second or third trade? Why not take it easy? Most people won't take it easy because they don't associate gambling as a difference between investing and trading. You see, there is a difference between the three. However, gambling and trading are closely associated. I'm not going to kid you. I know because I've made money and I've lost. See, market fluctuations has affected me immensely because when I paid for my course, which is beyond this level, I paid a hefty fee. I paid $15,000 because the first course didn't teach me much. So I had to pay the same amount again to a guru that came out of that class and has taught me immensely steps. But before you learn those steps, you need to learn the basics. And the basics are that the market will fluctuate. The market will have its ups and will have its downs. But how do you benefit from this market fluctuation? If you know that you are up 10 to 20%, 10 to 20%, why not take your gains? Is it hard to take gains? Unless you have a bigger goal, like sometimes I do. For example, if I know that a stock is valued $50 higher than what it is right now, and it was just valued at that, okay, maybe I won't wait until it's $50 in value, but maybe I'll wait until it's $30 closer to that goal. So you need to have realistic goals. Either you make 10 to 20% or 5% your goal, or you make it a goal considering what the analysts tell you. And believe it or not, analysts are usually not 100% accurate. Okay? They have a system in which they come up with these numbers. Some of them are fabulous. Some of them, you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what they used to find the statistical method to achieving how they valued the stock in front of you. And some analysts will say it's 200, a stock that's at 100, and others will say it's 125 or 130. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? I'd say the 10 to 20% is much easier to achieve than the 30 to 50% or 100%. However, it is achievable if you make this a worthwhile business, that you're in it. In the beginning, you will have to work more if you want to learn how to handle the markets. So the market will fluctuate. And be aware that if it fluctuates and you have money that you need tomorrow, let's say to pay the rent, maybe you should reconsider and stop gambling and take the time to learn how to trade and invest so that your money is multiplied properly. Time and timing. You see, if a stock is at the bottom, is worth $1, 50 cents a share, do you think it's going to go up anytime soon? It could, but if all you're basing it is on thoughts, then there's something wrong. Meaning, there are other prerequisites to jumping into a stock. And that we're going to look at in a few slides later. The time. Are you entering at 4 in the afternoon into a stock, or are you entering at 8 a.m. into a stock, or maybe during the middle of the day? I'm not saying that any of these are wrong. I'm not saying that you have the ultimate timing to enter, and I hope you do. But what I am saying, are you considering the fact that the time you're entering is in correlation to whatever is happening? Potentiality. Oops, forgot the Y there. Potentiality. So, realistically, a stock on average can go up between 5 and 10%. My aim is 10 to 20% goal on returns. However, when I see a stock that has dropped 15, 20, 30%, and I see that it's worthwhile its attention, I will invest. See, I just picked up today F-Cell. F as in Frank, C-E-L, F-Cell. It provides batteries for electric vehicles. And they just received their earnings report in which they missed their earnings for the quarter and people started to sell off. Well, I saw my gains, my profits go from positive to negative. And what did I do? I didn't sell. That's what the market wants you to do. But I purchased more. Do I see potential in the stock? Of course I do. There is potential and it's already up on the day. And that's how stocks can be. I'm not saying this is going to happen always, but it can happen. The rich mentality. If you're constantly thinking that you're going to be broke, that you're going to lose, that you're not going to make it, then guess what? You are probably right. You are probably right. Is it an inconvenience to think that you are going to make it? Is it hard to see yourself with lots and lots of money? Have you given up on the idea of becoming rich? It takes time. It's not overnight. But where does it start? In your mind. You create the vision of what you want. And if you combined your thoughts with your emotions, you see thoughts are potential things. And when you combine your thoughts with emotion, you create motion. This is where a rich mentality starts. What is your goal? Is your goal to have $10,000? Is your goal to be a millionaire? Is your goal to be a billionaire? Is your goal to give away money? Whatever it is, your goal, have you written it down somewhere? Have you looked it over? Have you listened to your goals? You see, some of us are more visual, some of us are more auditory. Have you meditated or contemplated on your goals? Don't make too many goals, because as Warren Buffett has shown us, he will make a list of all the things he wants to do, and then he'll pick his top priority, probably one business goal, one family goal, and one personal goal, maybe even a financial goal, right? But don't make 10 business goals at the same time. You can have 10 business goals, but do not move from goal number one onto goal number 2, 3, or 4 until you've accomplished number 1. Many of us have this problem. Many of us want a house before we can afford it. Many of us want a luxury car before we can afford it. Many of us want to take a much needed vacation to a luxurious place before we can afford it. Well, guess what goal number 1 is? Have a monetary goal. Reach it first. And then you can have your much needed whatever it is that you want. What is your goal? Where can you find stocks? Well, stocks can be found everywhere you walk, in your neighborhood, in your home, in the hospital, anywhere you go, anywhere you go. Now, there are different types of sectors, and there might be more than what I'm just going to say right now, but it's reality that you know the differences in these sectors. Why? Because at times, things don't go the way you expect them to go. For example, you have the tech sector, you have the transportation sector, the healthcare sector, the insurance sector, you have the goods sector, you have the retail sector, you have the biotech sector, and you name it. There are many, many more. I don't know them all, but as I come across them, then they come back to memory. However, the reality is that anytime you are investing, there could be a loss in one specific sector. You see, right now, as we're making this video, the 4 main money earners in the world are Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, and Microsoft, all in the tech sector, right? Those are the top 4 companies. However, as we speak, the tech sector is being hit hard. Why? Because of negative news. It will happen. As we discussed in an earlier video, the stock market will fluctuate, and it is a roller coaster ride. If you're invested solely in one sector, then guess what? Eventually, that sector is going to have a slump. So I recommend that you diversify. Why? Because when I was being taught this, I was told only invest in X sector, in this one sector. And that's what I was doing. However, I learned that that's not the only thing that you need to learn. But I'll say this, I learned to value one specific sector more than others. The reality is that the more you become aware of one sector, then you become aware of what happens with news, with other alerts that you will be able to set up as you're building a watch list. What is the criteria for building a watch list? And that's what we're going to go over in the next few slides. The criteria for building a watch list. Once we have the criteria, it makes it so much easier to build a watch list, to know what stock you're going to invest in, to know where you're going to get these sources of information. How much should you invest? Well, on average, I was told that the minimum to start investing is $2,000. Why do people say $2,000? Number one, you meet the minimal margin requirements. I don't want you to have to borrow money on margin. That's not what we're here to do. Borrowing money will lead to more problems. You want to use your money. You want to be able to know that what happens tomorrow if you lose all this money, that you're okay with it. I invested money, I lost it during the first year or two, and then I started to make money. I didn't give up. I was anxious. I became very nervous, and I gave myself, I don't know, a few weeks off, and then I came back because I needed that time to reflect, to think about what I was doing, to think about how much I was going to invest. And what did I tell myself? I'm going in, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to battle it out, I'm going to win. And sure enough, little by little, I'm winning. However, that's not to say that I don't have losses from time to time. I do. I do, just like everyone else. How much should you invest? If you have $2,000, that's a good place to start. If you have $500, that's an okay place to start, but it takes much, much longer to build up the value of your portfolio with 500 bucks than it does with 2,000 or 10,000 or 30,000. So I'm just being realistic. That the less that you have, the longer it's going to take to build it. Well, just figure $500 and you make a 10% return. How much is that? $5. $50. So 550. Now you multiply that again by 10% more. Now you got 55. That's 605. However, it's not always going to be that cut, clear, and simple. There's going to be times you're going to break even. There's going to be times you're going to make 5%. There's going to be times that you're going to have a small loss, a 10% loss. Are you ready for this? This is what you need to consider when you are considering how much do you invest. The reality is that whatever you do in the stock market, you've got to have reliable sources of info, because the goal is, how can I grow my money and enjoy the process? How can I grow my money and enjoy the process? If you think of abundance and you feel abundant, then the potential for abundancy in your life is sure to come. There are different types of investments, but the differences between investing and trading, what are they? Investing. Investing is usually for the long term, the midterm, short term, maybe 30 days, maybe 90 days, or maybe you have a goal like I do, where Apple stock right now is valued at, it was valued at $120 a share. It's up to 126 as we're doing this audio, but then the analysts are saying it's valued at 175 to $215 a share. Who do I believe? Who do I trust? I'm waiting for Apple to release their iPhone 12, their car apps, or maybe have a joint venture with a car company like Volkswagen, who is supposedly, unofficially, ahead of Tesla. I'm also invested in other stocks in the same sector, in the tech sector, and they're all down. They're all down. It's unbelievable. What's the difference between a loss and whether you lose? What you lose if a stock falls and you don't get out in time and it keeps falling and it keeps falling, and then you sell, you lose. A loss is a little bit different. If you see a stock that's not headed your way, but instead of losing, Now you have a small loss. It's easier to gain back. Say you lose $100. I mean, depending on how much you invest, just for example, if I invest $2,000 and my goal is to make 10%, however, I don't want to lose more than 5%, right? So you've got to have your checks and balances on that. And I'm going to teach you some ways that I treat the stocks if they're going the incorrect way. What's the difference? Next time versus fear of missing out. You see, fear of missing out is when you just saw that Microsoft company just made $50 on their shares, 20% rise, for example, and you want to jump in now after they made that 20%. Is that the right moment to jump in? Is it? It depends. It depends. But in reality, there's always a next time. Don't have the fear of missing out, which is what FOMO stands for. Fear of missing out. When you see that something happened, you see that everybody probably made returns and you didn't. Now you want to jump in. Don't do that. It's not worth it. Next time, why do I say next time? There's always a next time. However, if a stock has reached its ultimate potential, if it's reached its highs and it's not breaking out beyond the highs, why would you jump in? And on another note, if you have invested once, twice, and maybe even a third time in that same day, and none of those stocks go your way, stop. Don't invest anymore. You're going to lose more. You're going to lose all your money. Why would you risk losing all your money in one day? This is the combination of fear of missing out, not allowing yourself to wait until the next day to start trading again. It's all about patience and research. Patience and research. Research and patience. Now, the moment that people have been waiting for, the watch list prerequisites, what's coming up? These are the things we're going to be going over in the next sections. Each one of them has a level of learning that we all have to consider so that we can grow, we can expand our horizons. It took me a little while. It can take anyone from a month to 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. It depends on you on learning all of these. But these are the things that are coming up in the next sections that if you learn them, what's on this page and the next page, you're set to be a trader as well as an investor. But you're not going to know everything in the market. You see, you never learn everything in the market, but you learn certain things. So what's coming up? What are catalysts? Fundamental analysis, technical analysis, SEC filings, red flags, charts. These are very important. Getting alerts, Twitter, Reddit. P&D stands for pump and dumps. Applications. The applications that I'm going to be focusing on are Thinkorswim, which is TOS, TZ, which is Trade Zero, ET, E-Trade, RH, Robinhood, WB, Webull, and I will probably throw in a few crypto applications in there, cryptocurrency. And then we'll have a summary into all of this. What is the importance of all of this? Because once you build a watch list and know all the prerequisites for building a watch list, then you're all set. You could start investing small amounts, see how it goes, maybe $100, maybe $50, and just see how it goes. And when you get to 10 trades, then you increase a little bit more. And you do it incrementally, 50 to 100 to 200 to 400, and so on. If you see yourself gaining all the time, having a plan all the time, then guess what? You're ahead of the game. Once you learn how to do your watch list and you make it a habit, then you're ready to move on to the next level. This is CEO Trades with stock market tips, secrets to success.